Deku vs. Movie Sonic is closer than you think. Well, sort of. Here's why. Spoiler warning, by the way. In terms of power, these two actually share a similar range. For Deku, at the time of the final battle, would upskill characters such as Stars and Stripe. Stars and Stripes being a character who can output attacks in the Terraton ranges of TNT, which is consistent since a weaker version of All Might and Deku could output energy within this range. On top of this, Deku and Bakugo in the Heroes Rising movie were able to output energy within the large country level ranges of power, an attack which a prime version of All Might would reasonably scale above. We know from the first season that All Might claims that a prime version of himself would have dealt with the USJ Nomu in 5 hits compared to his weakened state's 300, meaning that a prime All Might would be around 60 times stronger than his weakened self, putting a prime All Might in the multi-continental ranges of power. This is important because Shigaraki in the final war was stated to be physically on the same level as prime All Might, and a 45% Deku could combat that same Shigaraki, putting Deku at 45% in the multi-continental ranges in terms of his AP. In terms of speed, Deku was able to blitz Lady Nagant's bullets, which could travel from Tokyo to UA, with the speed of her bullets at best, finding themselves to be within the relativistic ranges of speed. For Deku to have blitzed them the way he did via Fajin, he would have needed to have moved nearly over 200 times faster than light. And considering this was done during his Vigilante arc, and he only gets stronger and faster for his final fight, his base would potentially scale to this range. Now for Movie Sonic, just one of his quills caused a power surge heading into space, finding itself also in the Terraton ranges. However, considering just one of his quills was enough to do this, we can use it to gauge how powerful a charged version would likely be compared to his base, especially since one quill is enough to match a base Sonic in terms of power and speed in a non-charged state, with the result getting him into the multi-continental ranges, which would be consistent with Shadow's own power splitting the moon. However, in the first movie, Sonic also causes a power surge that traveled across the galaxy, reaching Tails' own planet. However, based on what we see on screen, we see that the energy reached a satellite, with the energy itself being in the small planetary to even planetary ranges, which would be consistent with Shadow's own energy being capable of destroying the planet. Now as for speed, Sonic in the first movie was able to effortlessly swat away bullets and missiles, which when recalced would find itself to be in the FTL to FTL plus ranges of speed. And if we apply the same multipliers for a base Sonic compared to a charged state, he would find himself in the MFTL to the MFTL plus ranges of speed in a charged state. Comparing their stats, Movie Sonic has arguably greater physical strength while being much faster, as well as having a greater maximum power output. However, Deku has a greater set of abilities that could potentially give him an edge, along with his greater combat experience and intelligence. Deku definitely has the power to compete with Movie Sonic's lower ends, and depending on the conditions, his abilities along with greater battle intelligence could potentially give him the upper hand. You can even argue for Deku getting into the small planetary ranges via some higher end calcs and multipliers with Fajin and Gear Shift. Sadly though, Sonic's max speed and more consistent planetary power still outmatched Deku's. It definitely wouldn't be an easy fight for either one of these characters, however, I would say Sonic would win more times than not, especially if he goes all out. But what do you guys think? Thank you and congratulations for surviving the full 3 minutes. Comment your thoughts down below, and subscribe.